This is The Wheel Weaves, a Wheel of Time podcast with no spoilers. Hey everyone, I'm your host Dani, and I'm the first-time reader going through this series chapter by chapter. As always, there's no spoilers past the chapter we're covering, and that means it's totally safe for first-time readers. I'm joined by my co-host Brett, who's a longtime fan, and he's guiding me on this journey. We'd like to thank and acknowledge our executive producers, Brandy and Kirkwood, Sean McGuire, Yanis, LightBlindedFool, Green Man, Deyvis Ferreira, Margaret, Big C, Bennett Williamson, Dylan C, Hannah Green, Noralia, Jordan Gower, and Geof Searles. We also want to acknowledge TK Focht, Braincase, and Mason and Victoria Powers for renewing their annual pledge on Patreon for the second year in a row. Thank you so much for your continued support. We really, truly appreciate it, and it means so much to us. And before we get into this episode, we want to thank and welcome Geof Verby and Jen Charter to the Wheel Weaves Patreon team. Thank you so much for your support and your generosity. We really truly couldn't do this without you. In this episode, we're talking about chapter 24 of Knife of Dreams.
Yeah, chapter 24 is Honey in the Tea.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's actually the longest chapter except for the prologue.
In this book.
Yeah, in this book.
You know,
yeah.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
This is a good one.
There are so many Aes Sedai names. I hope you have your book.
I took notes.
Did you? Okay. Oh, it's hidden
notes.
in the... Okay.
I did. Here it is. Yeah.
Tucked away.
Yeah, it's not that tucked away, just from your vision.
You're like covered in blankets.
I have like a single blanket, but that's fine. Now, I do have notes because I went back, re-listened, and I read at the same time as listening. And now I don't want to impede on your fun fact by any means.
Sure.
But I found a discrepancy in the audiobook and the book.
I love that. I love that.
'Cause
It's good because you're going to hate my fun fact.
Oh, good.
That it's not for you.
Is it about Welsh names?
It's not, but we have to apologize for ripping on Shlu so much.
You know, hey, that was pretty good.
I've practiced.
Oh, goodness. Okay, well, I just wanted to tell you that in my copy, my paperback copy, when Egwene is talking to Lyanna in the cells at one point,
Okay.
she says, Lyanna, do the sisters who visit you still ask the same questions?
Right.
And in the audiobook, it says, Lyanna, do you think the sisters who visit you still ask the same questions? So the words you think were either added in by Kate reading.
Yeah.
Or her copy had the words you think.
Interesting.
Because in the writing it just says do the sisters, and she said do you think the sisters.
Yeah, I have to say I think it makes more sense if you take out the you think.
Yes, I think so too.
Yeah, okay, interesting. That's not on my list of book corrections either, so okay.
Yeah, I
Good.
was just noting it because it's been so long since I listened while I was also reading the book because I wanted to get the spellings of the names.
Right.
And so I was doing a very in-depth note-taking this time around, and
Okay.
I was like, hey, wait a minute, that's different.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough.
Okay, now tell me your fun fact.
Okay, now, like I was just saying for the record, this one isn't for you, so if you want to, like, tune out for the next 2 minutes, that's okay.
I always do.
But in this chapter, we get an absolutely incomprehensible argument between three White Ajah sisters.
Shit, I should have known.
Oh, yeah, and I decided since it's never made any sense to me, and I literally just skip it because I don't know what the hell they're talking about. I figured...
Is it physics?
Well, okay, here's the thing. I'm going to tell you.
I thought maybe it was an RJ-ism.
So I figured I might as well give it a go and try and figure it out. So this is my best estimate, and considering I don't have any formal training in philosophy or physics or whatever else this is talking about, because I'm really not 100% sure, I might be wrong.
It also might just be made up gibberish for this series.
This is my best interpretation at the current moment. So we've got the three sisters, Nagora, Noreen, and Mayasi. They're talking about this subject. And they start by saying, the inherent impossibility of dissimulated structures is given. Now, dissimulated means disguised or hidden, and structures, so everything has a structure, and structures are the real things that lie beneath the surface of the thing. So I think what Nagora is saying is it's impossible that there's any hidden power structures affecting our world. That's a given. And then Miyasi clearly disagrees with her because she says, well, dissimulated structures are implied by 4 of the 5 axioms of 6th order rationality. Strongly implied. Now, I couldn't find any one-to-one comparison on that, but there are what's called the 4 axioms of rational behavior. There's a whole thing on it, and basically it states that the rational person will always prefer a decision that maximizes expected utility. That kind of actually made sense from The Good Place, because they do talk about that stuff, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
So what Miyasi is saying is, well, actually, these hidden power structures are actually strongly implied by the basic rules of rationality from what we see. And then Noreen jumps in and says, hey, the 6th order rationality has been discarded by anyone with intellect, but dissimulated structures are fundamental to any possibility of understanding what is happening right here in the tower. Reality itself is shifting, changing day by day. So Noreen doesn't think the theory of rationality holds any weight, but does agree with the hidden power structures affecting the world. It's definitely a thing because it's the only thing that explains what's happening in the tower, like ghosts and changing hallways. And then the conversation ends by Miyasi saying, logic is always applicable to the real world, but only a novice would think the real world can be applied to logic. Ideals must be first principles, not the mundane world. So in my best guess, what they're talking about is they're discussing the possibility of whether there are disguised or hidden facets of reality that would cause what's happening in the tower, like the ghosts and changing hallways, and that reality is shifting based on hidden powers. So I think what they're having is a conversation or an argument about the existence of and or the interference in reality of the Dark One and how he actually affects reality.
Okay.
Which is like a super white Aja thing to do.
Which makes sense considering we've just seen that even in the tower here, we're seeing ghosts and doorways and hallways and stuff moving around.
Like the spooky clouds over Dragon Mount.
All that
like,
stuff.
So I think they're actually having conversation about like the undercurrents of like, does the Dark One actually legitimately affect reality?
And whites are all about logic.
Logic
right?
and philosophy,
Okay.
and like it's 100% a conversation they would have.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's what they're talking about and arguing over.
And I do have to say, halfway through I checked my emails, so...
Yeah, no, that's totally fair.
Yeah.
I assumed you would. I went down a bit of a rabbit hole trying to like figure. That's my best guess.
Yeah.
Anyways,
okay.
Not really relating otherwise to the chapter.
Okay, and before we actually start it, I have to note, it's been a long time since I've noted this. At some point in this chapter, one of the Brown's warders has a touch of white at the temples.
Okay.
And there
because
has been...
is that the old thing, right?
Because he's aging.
Okay.
He's aging. That's how you know.
Well, it's good you picked up on that.
Yes. Now, there have been others in the last, I don't know, book or so that I haven't specifically written down and talked about. But since I had my pen out and I had my notebook, I just don't know when it was.
You had to do it.
But I have to say, it happened in this chapter.
Okay, fair enough.
We can talk about it now.
The chapter?
This chapter? Yeah.
Let's do it. Okay. Honey in the tea.
That's right. And we get the chapter symbol, the Flame of Tarvalin.
Makes sense. A lot of Aes Sedai.
Yeah, and we get our first Egwene perspective since the prologue.
Right.
Since she was captured. And what's interesting is this chapter starts on the morning she wakes up after being captured.
Yeah.
And we move through to the 9th day.
Yes.
Of her being captured.
Yes.
And then that brings us about in line with the rest of the perspectives we've seen in this book, I'd say.
Yeah, that's a fair, like, a week, basically.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit less than that.
In this book series, right?
Right,
yes.
okay.
Yeah, okay. So, Egwene is captive in the tower. She wakes up the next day. She knows it's going to be difficult, but she is fighting a war here.
Yes.
And so, she has decided to embrace pain. She knows that the Aes Sedai way to punish a novice is to spank them.
Yes.
Now, I am not going to go on an emotional rant every single time someone is spanked in this chapter.
Get it out of the way now.
I'm just going to mention now that I don't condone corporal punishment. And I don't condone spanking. And it makes me uncomfortable at the amount of times people are just totally cool with hitting someone else.
Beating her.
Literally beating.
Yeah, so much that you have to be magically healed multiple times per day.
Right, and to the point where sometimes in her other lessons, the Aes Sedai are just taking it upon themselves to hit her with their hairbrush and things like that. Their own slippers. And it's just like, cool. It's just, oh, this is cool. We just are allowed to hurt people when they make us mad.
Right. Okay. With that out of the way.
I've said it.
You said it. We're not going to say it again.
I'm going to really try not to say it again.
Rein it in.
Everybody knows my position on this.
Against.
against.
Yeah.
Hate it.
I just want to make sure, I'm just making sure we're clear.
But at the same time, I am absolutely loving Egwene's resolve.
Okay.
She is not going to fight against it, being like, no, I'm not going to be hit, and like, sort of like hiding and skirting it and trying not to get hit. She's like, well, this is the way they do things, and they're going to learn that this isn't going to have any effect on me.
Yeah, it's like, that's not going to break me.
Yeah.
You can beat me, but it's not going to break me, so that's
I'm
all.
embracing the pain.
Yeah, and it is a notable difference then versus her captivity with like the Shanshan, for example, because that, with the Shanshan, you can't even mentally fight back, which is a huge issue. Here, she has her mind still intact, and she can like struggle against it like that and just accept the beatings, but Shanshan, very different.
They're not so adept at the psychological torture that the Shanshan are.
Exactly, yes. Like, there's a totally different level. But it's just like another form of captivity.
And it's also interesting because I don't think that the Aes Sedai want to psychologically torture her, and even the spankings and the hittings aren't meant as torture per se.
To get her to fall in line with the way they do things.
They see it
which
as
is like
punishment, whereas I don't know what the Shanshan would see it as. It's a very interesting question, and I don't even know if we need to go into this.
Yeah, that's fair.
Maybe that's for a bonus episode.
Sure.
We have a lot to get through here.
There is.
All of the political maneuvering, I'm actually super on board with, and I'm really impressed with Egwene.
Yeah. Okay. So just like whenever there is like a spanking, just like, well, let's comment, there's a beating that takes place. Yeah. And then move on. We don't need to talk about it.
Yeah. And even that, we don't even really need to talk about it.
Sure.
So every time she's with the mistress of novices, who we've heard about before, it's Silviana. Because Sheriam was the mistress of novices in the tower before it split.
Right.
And now Sheriam is over in, I want to say Saladar camp, but it hasn't been the Saladar camp for a very long time.
The rebel
camp, yes.
Okay. And she is Egwene's keeper.
Yes.
Right.
Now, Silviana is very convinced that these slipperings are really going to do the trick, and Egwene is going to fall into line because who wants to be beat more than they have to be beat?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the most important part of this section is Silviana lets Egwene know that the Aes Sedai now do believe that Lyanna is who she says she is, which last time we were here, they're like, there's no way that's Lyanna. And then Egwene opens her big mouth and is like, it is.
Yeah, it seems like a super weird position still. Yes. Even now that they like, Lyanna wants them to know. It's all very confusing a little bit on like why people are acting the way they're acting, but it's just, that's how it is.
Okay, and Egwene is also just allowed to saunter down there anytime she wants and just like chat with her?
Yeah, exactly.
Which is like...
It's like free reign in your free time. Okay, so let's keep in mind a couple of things. Number one, Egwene's journey from the beginning of the series, she went to the tower, was a novice, got taken away by Liandrin, and then she basically hasn't been back to the tower. She's jumped around and grown up.
She did go back to the tower. She did her accepted test.
Yeah, like there was some.
And then right away, Swan was like, get out of here.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like immediately whisked away again.
Aja.
Yeah. So like for all intents and purposes, what she's done in the tower, a lot of people would probably view her as not really being...
like a true Aes Sedai. Yeah, you didn't get the Aes Sedai experience.
Even debatably like accepted. Like we can bump her down from accepted to not. It's just like she hasn't really gone through anything in the tower.
Right.
As much as most Aes Sedai think she should.
Right. And then when we talk about what does it mean to be an Aes Sedai, is it, that we know how to control the weaves really well? Or is it, we know how to fall in line to these made-up rules really well?
It's that one. That's the one.
Oh, that's
the one. Yep.
Right.
And it all makes sense now.
Okay. So now Egwene doesn't curtsy, so she'll earn another beating, and that just goes on and on. That's the theme around here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, go Egwene.
Yeah, I also appreciate like the Aiel way of embracing the pain isn't to face the beating stoically and not shed a tear and not cry out and just like take it. It's you show your emotion for being beaten, and then she is able, and we see the progression through the chapter, but she's able to like get better and better at once it's done to recover and be okay mentally. Yeah. So it's a pretty cool comparison. And then at one point, she's also like, maybe I should try singing like the Aiel do during torture sometimes. And then she's like, maybe not.
Not quite. Not yet anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so she has to walk this fine line between like fighting back and not just stubbornly refusing everything.
Right.
Because she's just going to get confined to a cell.
Yes.
So she sort of goes along with anything, but she also is like the Amarylline seat curtsies to no one.
Yeah, there's some things she's not going to do no matter what.
Yeah.
Like curtsying, and she still is accepting herself as the Amarylline seat.
Oh, and she is portraying herself as the Amarylline seat too, outwardly. So it's not even like she's like, I know I am, but I'm pretending to be a novice. Like, she will say out loud to everyone who will listen,
Yeah.
No, I'm the Amarylline seat. I'm just a prisoner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. I do like it. It's a really good Egwene chapter.
I think so too.
Okay.
Okay. So Egwene leaves and Alviarin's waiting outside because it's her turn to go into the study because of that whole situation.
Yep. She got kicked out as keeper, and then Elida's like, yo, penance.
Now, she is going to head to the dining hall for breakfast, but there are a bunch of other novices here having breakfast, and Egwene is not impressed by the numbers, even though they're relatively high.
There's like 100, and I think in the tower previously we had there was 40
now,
or something like that.
Now, do we think that there are more here because of Egwene's proclamation?
Probably.
Like how she yelled out, like, hey, anybody who's a novice, like, come see me.
Yeah.
But then messages get cross-wired, and a bunch of them ended up at the tower instead of at their camp.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's definitely part of it. And maybe they did. Obviously, they're only accepting actual young, acceptable novices in the tower's eyes.
Yes, no oldies over here.
Exactly.
Gross.
I don't want to say it, but you said
it's disgusting. I hate when people
hate
age.
them.
Yeah, it's the worst.
But yeah, so she's like, not impressed because there's only 100. But that's pretty good.
Yeah,
I guess
more than the tower's held in centuries or something like that.
Yeah.
All right, so Nicola is here, and if you forget who Nicola is, she sucks. She's the worst. She was the one from the original boat.
Yeah.
From the circus.
And Ariana.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Nicola was the channeler who basically abandoned the rebel camp because she wanted to learn faster.
Yeah.
And thought, the tower's going to let me learn faster.
No.
Nope, not at all. Mm-hmm. And then Arena was the one who was really buddies with Brigida.
Yeah, like Brigida's style.
Yeah, she wanted to become the next one. And then Elaine was super jealous.
Didn't like that.
Why is she hanging out with my friend? She's my friend, not your friend.
I know, yeah, all of that.
Those are those two.
Okay. And Nicola ran away, and now she's at the tower.
She's at the tower, yeah.
And she never really was very good in the rebel camp, but here, now she's Egwene's biggest supporter.
Yeah. Nicola did try her hand at blackmailing a little bit, didn't work so well. No. So, yeah, but apparently she's on board with the Egwene thing, so.
Okay, but now we do have Alvistier.
Alvistier.
Who straight up trips Egwene, sticks her foot out.
Oh, yeah.
And trips her.
A's being a giant B.
Oh, you know what? We're hazing.
Yeah, we are.
We are hazing the new girl who thinks she's better than everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of get it. From the novice perspective, who's this bee coming on him, right?
Yeah.
But right away, Egwene puts her right in her spot.
Yeah.
Because she's like, hey, go ahead. Tell on me. Everyone will say I didn't do it.
Yeah.
And then Egwene's like, oh, you want to be an Aes Sedai who doesn't lie, but you want others to do it for you? Bitch.
Yeah. And then Alistier's like, oh, who are you to lecture me? And Egwene's like, I'm the Amarylline seed.
Boom. Mic drop.
Love it. Okay. It's good. It's good.
Yeah. So Egwene goes into the kitchens. Laris is here. And at one point, Egwene is like, I should be able to use Laris because I know that she helped Swan and Lyanna escape last time.
Exactly.
And right away, I was like, no, she didn't help Swan and Lyanna escape. Let's be real. She helped Min
escape.
No. She didn't help Min. She helped
Elmindrada
escape.
I love it.
That's who she helped here.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much help you're going to get here, Egwene, actually.
Right.
Because you are not Elmindrada.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Now, it is funny that Laris is the mistress of the kitchens because way back before...
Oh, before she was not.
Yes, before she...
That wasn't even a title.
And Swan was like, I should give her the title. And then we did see her with the title, but now it's she's officially here too, so... It's pretty good. Anyways, little side note here, Egwene does pick up on all the things in this chapter that we already know, but one of the common themes is that, there's a very divided tower here.
Oh,
She sees all the meals being brought up to all the Aes Sedai.
Oh, yeah, and the Azures aren't talking to each other.
Yeah, which means, they're not eating in the common rooms or whatever with each other, so it's, fractured, so she is getting to see all that now, so we can all be on the same page.
Yeah, I actually think that it's kind of good that Egwene is in here to see all this.
Okay.
I don't know how it's actually going to end up turning out.
Sure.
But the fact that she's able to have eyes on what's happening in here
Sure.
is a smart move. Because now I do have a note later on, because we start talking about the ferrets when we get to some other people that she runs into.
Right.
And the ferrets who the rebel camp sent to the tower to report back to them on what's happening in the tower. I don't know how much reporting back was actually happening.
Yeah.
How much of the do we actually know about what it's happening here? Why is Egwene, the Amyrlin Seat, so uninformed about what it actually looks like in here?
Well, because the job of the ferrets wasn't necessarily to report back to the rebel camp. It was to spread dissension
I know,
in
but
the tower
also maybe
for a
it
while.
should have been.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I agree with you.
Especially considering we literally have Tel'aran'rhiod to communicate in.
Well, at the time, did they know that?
Yeah, it was in Saladar.
Yeah, but the rebels or the rebels sent the ferrets before all that stuff really came out too. Right? That's why Egwene was able to hold. Like Egwene didn't know about the ferrets for a long time.
With her Tel'aran'rhiod capabilities.
Yeah.
Until later, and same with Elaine and Nynaeve with their Dream Ring Terengrios.
Exactly.
Till later.
So the mission was like send the ferrets in and then like try to.
We could go Dream Shout now that we know that they're in there and.
And again, I'm not disagreeing that there are options.
Oh, it's just a communication piece once again.
Yeah, we didn't do any of those things.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, they shoulda.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that that's out of the way, now it's very dramatic because all of the novices are gonna wait to see whether or not Egwene sits down.
Oh, yeah.
To eat.
Yeah.
Because if she has been beaten, she probably doesn't want to sit because it hurts.
Well, like, how bad is
but
it?
She sits down. She does her best to sit down normally and embrace the pain.
There we go.
After her meal, Katarina gives her 4-root tea to drink. And I have a note. Katarina is a Black Aja, but she's also red. And she's from Dumai's Wells.
Yep.
But she was also there at Egwene's capture.
Yes. And
which
she
would
was
have been
involved
last night at this point.
Yes.
So this is probably her second dose of 4-root tea, maybe?
Maybe, but we do know that she is dosing her. So.
Yeah, and Katarina seems disappointed that Egwene takes it and drinks it without issue.
Right.
Yeah.
Probably because she wants to beat her or something.
Yeah, probably.
It's Black Aja, so, you know.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Now she's got to go off to class, which I love. This is, okay, out of everything that happens, this might be one of my favorite.
Like her going to classes?
Yes.
And it immediately backfires?
Yes. I love
really
it.
Funny.
I love it so much, and I just,
Again, they expect Egwene. Well, it's kind of like the rebels. They thought Egwene was literally going to be a puppet on the Amyrlin Seat, and they're like, oh, no, she's actually not. So with Egwene coming in, the Tower Aes Sedai also think that Egwene is a puppet, and any actual novice puppet or whatever they think she is gets put in as the Amyrlin and gets kidnapped and done this, like they're doing this to her, she should reasonably cave immediately.
Nuh-uh, they have not met Egwene. They don't know Egwene.
That's the problem. They don't know Egwene. They don't know
our Egwene.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyways, class time. Let's do this. Let's get into it.
All right. So Egwene is going to go to her first class. And I don't know if this is the rebellious middle schooler in me.
Sure.
Or if this is the teacher in me who doesn't like other ineffective teachers.
Can't it be both?
Yeah, maybe it's both. Because it's just this is so good. All of it is so good. So this woman wasn't accepted when Egwene first came to the tower. And still is.
Right.
And so she's teaching these novice classes.
Which reasonably isn't that long of a time frame to be accepted. Generally accepted or accepted for years.
Oh, still an accepted.
It's loser. It's oh, come on.
So she's super snippy with the class and is let's see what our new girl is capable of because everybody here can make a ball of fire, but Egwene, can you?
Mm-hmm.
Does she think here that Egwene is so fork-rooted that she won't be able to do it?
Or that Egwene actually doesn't have any talent. They don't really know very much about Egwene. Yeah. How much do people know?
Okay, so we get that she is able to still channel a trickle.
Yes.
Okay, but now Egwene is so good at splitting her weaves, which is something I'm still kind of wrapping my head around because
it's hard to do.
I just believe what the words say and I don't think about it and I move on.
Yeah.
So she lights a ball of fire and then the teacher is super sarcastic and is good job, you can do it. Release it now.
Yeah.
No.
Not gonna do that.
Not gonna happen. So Egwene then makes 7 other balls of fire.
Yeah, well, 6. She does the 7.
6.
Yeah, the 7 colors of the Ajahs.
Oh, that's what she does. Okay.
Yeah.
And then she also has them spinning. She's juggling. I'm just expecting Evanescence to start playing for her juggling
Oh,
routine.
yeah, for sure.
Because that's my favorite song.
And then Rings
for
of
juggling
Fire,
routine.
she starts making those around the balls.
Little rings around
yeah.
the balls, and they're all jumping in around each other. She split her weaves 14 ways.
Yeah.
And
so basically, like, before, like, the Supergirls were introduced, doing 2, 3, 4 was, like, maxo.
Right.
Yeah, and now it's like, boom. And what you can do with such a little amount of the power.
Exactly. And then so this teacher, her name is, like, Idrel.
Yep.
She starts freaking out. Stop it! Stop it!
I told you to let it go.
At one point, I think it's like she's wailing.
Yeah. Like, Egwene's being like a defiant little shit here.
Yeah, she's just
so
ignoring
funny.
it. And she starts switching Egwene with air, like hitting her. So
right.
this is another time she's just being hit.
Yep.
Stop it. Stop it.
How else do you discipline?
How else do you get someone to do what you want them to do?
Exactly.
So Egwene doesn't stop. She just ignores the being hit part. And then Katarina and the other Red Sister, who are in charge of guarding her right now, come in and they're like, what's going on? And then they even like gasp at the thing that Egwene is doing. And all the novices jump up and curtsy, but Egwene doesn't even stand up. She just keeps channeling and juggling. And then she's wailing, I told her to stop, but she won't listen. And then Katarina orders her to stop. And so Egwene waits until Katarina is almost about to tell her again and then stops.
Right.
So
it's
that
so
she's
good.
standing there with her mouth open. And then she's like, you better run to Sylviana for a punishment. And of course, Egwene takes her time getting up.
She's not going to run. Not running.
And then Katarina starts smacking her with air. And then the other Red, whose name is
Jezreel,
has to step in and be like, Katarina, like, stop it.
You can't just beat her.
Right.
Like, 1 or 2 smacks is acceptable.
Yeah.
But more than that is the mistress of the novice's job, so you have to stop So it's like contention within the Reds, too, which is pretty good.
Also, we have Katarina, who's a known Black Aja to us.
Right.
And we know that Black Aja are not exactly gentle people.
Sure.
Right? So...
yeah, they don't have the same limitations of oaths and all that, too.
Exactly.
But
yes.
even if she did, I can still see it as, like, an Aes Sedai could beat Egwene as much as they want to. If they don't view it as a weapon, they view it as discipline.
Yes.
So, that's the issue.
That is the
That's
issue.
one of the issues.
Well, there's all these, like, dumb loopholes. But...
yeah, exactly.
All right, but now we're going to get that Egwene's going to go to 2 different classes and 2 more visits to Sylviana, plus her midday visit.
Yeah, so she's already had, like, 5 beatings today. Because there's the morning, the beating from the first class, the next 2 classes, and then a midday one.
Right. So Sylviana decides she's going to need healing at the beginning of each day because she can't just keep hitting her or she's going to start bleeding everywhere.
Right. So we're going to magically heal you so that we can continue to beat you.
Good.
So that we can get our point across.
Yeah. And she says if it takes healing 3 times per day to break Egwene, then that's what'll happen.
Perfect. Love it.
And Egwene's defiance in class has another effect because now she's not allowed to go to novice classes with accepted.
Right.
Which is like...
that doesn't work.
But listen... how can you treat her like a regular novice?
Yeah.
If she's going to start going to private Aes Sedai lessons.
Right.
That's an accepted thing. She's
right.
already climbing the ladder and it's day 1.
Yeah. It's not going very well. Like, their plan is
They
bad.
have no idea because mostly young girls are super susceptible. They come in here wide-eyed at the whole White Tower stuff and they just, like, basically do as they're told.
Yeah.
But Egwene isn't this, like, wide-eyed 13-year-old
But I mean,
novice.
even reasonably, even if you weren't, like, a wide-eyed girl, you'd be being beaten 5 times a day at the minimum. Like, most people, you're going to break anyways.
Typically, yeah.
So...
they don't know Egwene.
they don't know Egwene.
No.
Okay.
That's some strength. But anyway, so now she's climbing the ladder, and she is finding herself directly in classes with Aes Sedai.
Right. It's great.
All right, so now before we continue, I think we should take a really quick break, and then come on back to maybe have some visits in a cell.
Sounds good.
Okay, so we're back.
Yeah.
And we are going to continue with Egwene going to visit Lyanna in her cell on the 2nd night.
Right. So she is captive, even though she's Lyanna, but I guess it's
It's
Not
funny
kidding.
because Egwene's like, she's being kept in luxury. At least she's not being beaten. And it's like, she's still confined to a cell.
Well, it's
even
kind of
if
a
it
joke.
has its own bathroom.
They talk about it. It's kind of like a joke,
Okay.
like, oh, you're kept in luxury, like compared to like the deeper, darker cells.
Oh, where you don't even have a screen
Exactly.
between you and the bathroom.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
you got it.
Okay, and also most of the sisters are just intrigued by the whole Lyanna healing of stilling.
Right.
And also wanting to know how to travel.
Yeah. There's this whole like subplot about the sisters in the tower trying to get all the new fancy weaves. And there's a lot of thoughts that Egwene has about that.
Well, especially because we'll get to it, but
Yeah.
when Egwene is healed, she even thinks that it's the old school terrible version of healing.
Yeah.
Like later on.
Yeah.
So they update each other on their situations, and Lyanna finally is like, okay, so, when do we escape?
Yeah, when's the breakout happening?
Yeah, when's the breakout? And Egwene is like, no, we don't. We don't escape. This is the plan. Here's everything I've done so far.
Yeah.
They're never going to break me. This is the plan.
But it's like, okay, but when do I get broken out?
Yeah, because...
like, if you want to stick around, it's cool, but like, when do I get to go?
And then Egwene's like, no, I have a plan for you.
Right.
You're going to have lots of visitors coming to visit you.
Yeah.
And here are the things that you are going to say to help the mission, help the cause.
Sow the seeds of doubt and things that we already know.
Yeah. Okay.
We're doubling down on a lot of information here this chapter.
A lot of it.
Yeah.
So now Egwene is going to start her classes with the Aes Sedai, the solo one-on-ones.
Right.
And so I did make a couple of really quick notes on these lessons.
Okay, that's good.
So there's only one person that we have named who we've heard of before.
Okay.
And the other 4...
that you have names for that we've heard of before.
Yeah, like written in my book and stuff that I could go back to and be like, who is this?
Sure.
The other ones don't recognize, don't know.
Okay.
That's not true. I feel like the last one I maybe know the name of, but don't know the person. Not in my book.
Okay, let's go through them.
Okay, so we have Bennett.
Yeah.
Benai, maybe?
Yeah,
She's a brown.
Yeah, we've had her name mentioned once before.
Okay, not in my book.
Yeah, no, it was like in The Dragon Reborn, offhandedly, Egwene mentions her, that she's like a brown and had a lesson with her.
Okay.
We have her.
Well, anyway, she's asking history questions, and then she's like, hey, how do we not be a Chunla?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, Egwene,
I love it.
You know all about the mistakes that Chunla made,
but she didn't make any mistakes.
Egwene is like, yeah, I don't know that other history crap you're talking about, but you know what I do know? I do know that Chunla didn't make any mistakes.
Yeah.
What?
Well, she goes into like this big thing she spills the beans.
And she's so confident in her story. In
yeah.
things that she's saying.
Yeah, so for anyone who doesn't remember where the joke came from, but like, don't be a Chunla, because what happened at Chunla was that
Chunla's the worst.
So she was Amyrlin, and then basically the Hall took control over her.
But then the Hall also sucked.
And then they all got displaced and like deposed and kicked out. And then years later, Chunla got murdered by being smothered in her sleep because there was a plot to put her back on the Amyrlin seat.
That was secret.
But that's what Egwene basically does, is she spills the beans on the 13th depository and the secret histories.
Exactly.
And all the stuff that this brown sister doesn't know.
No.
But Egwene knows because like, I'm Amyrlin, I know this stuff. What's up?
No, exactly. And so Egwene is like, oh, here's some information.
Yeah.
And then Bennett goes, how do you know that? What are you talking about? And she goes, oh, the secret histories that only Amyrlins and sitters know about. Oh, shouldn't have said that. Shouldn't have told you that.
And the librarians who look over the 13th depository.
Yeah.
The secret ones, which are the sea folk.
Oh, right.
The 3 sea folk Aes Sedai are the ones who like get to guard the secret histories.
Yeah.
So funny.
I have like the weakest reference in the world only because we got sent some shot glasses.
Oh my goodness.
But it's shouldn't have said that.
Oh, it's a Hagrid. Oh, I should not have said that.
Should not have said that. Except that Egwene clearly says it on purpose. But several times in this little bit, I thought to myself, oh, shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, that's
funny. But
funny.
It's clearly information that people need to hear.
I love it. She's dropping.
That the story can progress.
Yeah.
And with Bennett, before we take our shots here, that are completely unnecessary, but I want to anyway, my note says, seed planted. They don't say that for every single one because they have a certain note.
Yeah.
For every lesson she has.
Okay.
But this one, seed planted.
It worked. Yeah.
It worked. For sure, this
seems that way.
Brown is so interested in other history.
It's like, I want to know the secret histories.
Oh my gosh, me too.
Exactly. Hey, are you Brown?
I'm not. Never.
You don't actually want to know the secret histories.
No. I mean, like, it kind of sounds interesting.
You
but
can summarize them, but I don't want to study them.
Yeah, Sparks Notes only.
Okay.
Okay, but I really did want to bring that up because I want to talk about this lovely package we received from Sarah. She sent us this lovely, beautiful card with the art of Josephine Wall on it, and it's the dragon ship.
Yeah, it's a beautiful card.
Amazing colors. Love it, love it, love it, love it. And it says, life has many directions. May you always follow your heart. And I really love that. But Sarah also sent us lots of shot glasses from Germany.
Yeah.
And it's very exciting. Some are pretty unique. I really like them very much. And she says that she's attempted to read these books multiple times and always gets stuck. And she's hoping to be able to finish with us.
You can do it.
You can do it.
Yeah. I like this one because my shot glass, it has like a bear on it and it says Pushkin. And I just looked it up and it's a German spirits company.
Oh.
Because like, what is that?
Cool.
German spirits
Sounds
company.
about right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just have these little tiny blue glass.
Yeah, we have a combination of like different sizes of different shot glasses.
I like the little one for me. I like it. I
You
took
gave me
the
the
little
big
one
one.
right away. I was like, I want this one. Okay, cheers.
Cheers.
Oof. I feel like I inhaled that one.
Yeah.
Oof. Oof. Okay, so we'll have to put that up on the shelf. We actually need a new shelf.
Yeah, or like a bigger one.
More shelves.
Yes. Yeah.
We'll figure it out. You're looking over like, where's that going to go?
Yeah.
Somewhere. It'll go somewhere. We'll figure it out.
Okay, back to the lessons now.
Okay, so then we go ahead with Lorene.
Yes.
Who's a red maybe?
Yeah. So
Don't know her.
This is actually interesting. So we have heard of her before, and it's actually doubly interesting. So her name is Lorene Doyrellin. Now, there is a Doyrellin who is named in the prologue of this book, and it's a white cloak that's listening to Galad, telling them that they're going to have to deal with fighting alongside Aes Sedai during the last battle. So Doyrellin is used twice, because one is like the white cloak's name, and the other is Lorene Doyrellin, who's the Red Aja. But we actually heard Lorene because she was mentioned in the Crown and Swords prologue in Tovane's thoughts. So Tovane is the Red who was exiled.
I remember that for sure.
Well, she was the one who was exiled and then returned to lead the Aes Sedai attack on the Black Tower. Mm-hmm. So that's Tovane. And Tovane thought about her, Lorene, and she's also a Red who was exiled.
Okay, and now she's back?
Now she's back.
Okay, well...
Yeah, I was going to say, do with that what you will.
And I'm going to do nothing with that. So, her lesson with Egwene, I wrote, goes medium, she spills the beans on the kidnapping with Rand, and she agrees to Elida's mistakes.
Yes, she's like, yeah, mistakes have been made, it's bad.
But this is the first time that Egwene is learning about Dumais Wells as a thing that happened.
And like the kidnapping of Rand and I guess
she had
everything.
No clue. She had no idea.
Yeah, we need to pass information better.
Yes.
But it's good to know that the exiled Reds are all mad at Elida.
Yeah.
Like there doesn't seem to be loyalty there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because Elida apparently like managed to sneak her way out of that.
Yes. All right. Now the next meeting is with somebody that I know, I think. Pretal, yeah.
Pretal.
She's a yellow. And she was involved with the capture of Egwene in the prologue.
Yes.
She was in that carriage where everyone is kind of mad at each other, but still capturing Egwene
together
for some reason.
And I think she is on your maybe suspicious list.
Oh, interesting.
Because, back in the...
Let me check. I haven't looked at my sus list in a long time.
Yeah, Crossroads of Twilight prologue, Yukiri, who's one of the Tower Black Aja hunters, saw Pretal talking with Atuan, who is a known Black Aja.
Interesting. Yeah, she's not, like, I didn't physically write her name, but I also stopped doing that a long time ago.
So Yukiri was like, maybe we should watch out for her, and that's this lady here.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, she won't talk.
Yeah.
So that didn't go well.
Yes. She only does novice lessons with Egwene. It's like the worst.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. And then we have Sarancha the Grey.
Yeah.
Who, this also doesn't go well. This
no,
lesson
she's
goes
the head of the Grey Aja.
The head of it.
Yeah, she is the head clerk.
Oh.
Yeah.
I forgot to look at that page.
Yeah, there's another list of all the heads of the Ajas.
Hold up. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, she is. It says that right there.
She wants proper behavior from Egwene.
Of course she does.
Yeah.
She also beats her.
You get a beating, and
Okay,
it's all
and then
only Egwene gets a beating.
Adalorna is also a name I know. That's the next one. She's a green.
She's the head of the Green.
Oh, that's how I know that name.
She's the Captain General of the Green Aja.
Captain General.
Yeah.
Oh, because they do so much of that.
And she also ends up beating Egwene.
She does do that. Yes, she does.
Oh, man.
I wrote spanked, but she maybe respects Egwene and wishes for Cadsuane to have her hand at breaking Egwene. She would find her a challenge.
Yes.
And I was like, yeah, that sounds about right, actually.
Okay, cool. That's how the
lessons
went.
Although I do think that Egwene would be quite the match for Cadsuane.
Yeah, I mean, if Cadsuane's only method of, I guess, like, is she only going to beat her?
Yeah.
The Aes Sedai don't seem to do anything else.
No, it doesn't work. Okay, now Egwene is back with Sylvana here. Sylviana? Nope. What's her name? I don't even know. It's decided that now she's going to need healing twice per day at this rate.
Right.
And pretty soon, she's going to be using the strap and not just a slipper.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, just do that. Like, if that's your method here, why are you still using a stupid slipper?
Give her a little bit more time.
No, I know.
It's been like, how many days has it been? It's been like 2 days.
I think this is day 3 or something.
3? It's not been very long.
A lot of lessons for only 3 days, honestly. Ugh, this is worse than school.
Like half-an-hour classes? What are we doing here?
Gosh, so much.
Oh, man.
And now, at the end of all of this is where Egwene ends up smiling because she has it set in her mind that after every beating she receives, it's like a battle that she's fought and refused to yield to, and that is something worth smiling about.
Yeah, like she's really working on her mentality here, so I gotta appreciate that.
Good, and some of the attitudes of the novices are shifting.
Right.
And Nicola is just like pumping her tires to everyone who will listen.
Oh yeah, she's like telling stories and making Egwene into a hero from like the rebel camp.
And some of the novices are even refusing to do some stuff, and then that earns them trips to get beaten.
But they're like, okay, we're not gonna. They cave immediately. Right.
But it's a confidence boost for Egwene, for sure.
That's true, and Egwene is doing a good job of boosting the confidence of the novices.
She's talking with them.
She's encouraging them.
Dealing with them.
Yeah.
Really working with them in a very Aes Sedai oriented way.
Yeah, and also especially because like a lot of the novices are currently dealing with ghosts coming out of the hallways. And Egwene's like, hey, these ghosts aren't the spooky ghosts, they're like the what's happening ghosts.
They certainly are.
They're not gonna hurt you.
I know, that's what I've been
saying. They're more afraid of you than you are of them.
No, they're also just caught up in this.
They're like, what's going on?
They're not gonna hurt you.
Yeah.
And also, don't worry if you can't find your way when you thought you should know your way.
Just keep walking.
It's happening everywhere.
Yeah.
Turns out.
Yeah.
Like, we know that.
Yeah.
But,
all right. Yeah.
But so Egwene is spending a lot of time comforting novices.
Yes.
And helping them out and explaining that these things aren't that bad.
Well, and Egwene's
it's the White Tower. It's a place of wonder. Just
Egwene's
chillax.
mad that the Aes Sedai aren't doing their jobs of doing this, which is also fair.
Yeah.
They should be.
But Egwene has come from somewhere that has this system of working with novices that the White Tower has never encouraged before.
Yeah.
Too, right? So not only is she coming at this from a place of not only empathy, but wanting to gain the trust and respect of them and wanting to be seen as a leader, but she's also coming from this place where it's like, no, we're going to do things a little differently now.
Yeah, like the rebel camp you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting that in this storyline, we just get this little tidbit about how the ghosts and the hallways changing are happening here in the White Tower too.
Right.
Now, Egwene also spends a lot of time doing physical labor on the tower, like all novices do. She's scrubbing pots, she's doing all the things, and she's lugging water around the tower because we still don't have any kind of plumbing.
Yeah, well, no, and it also builds character. We do get that. It's like lugging water and doing the physical labor.
I know.
Builds character.
Bringing meals to Aes Sedai, that kind of thing, yard work.
I like that Laris is stepping up here too as the mistress of the kitchen. She's doing a little bit of defense on Egwene because she's not letting the novices bully her, which is also good.
Yeah. No, that part is nice.
Like chasing them out and stuff. So, I mean, that's good. That's good.
All right. Also, we get a note that there are 31 accepted currently in the tower.
Yes,
and that sounds like not a lot. It sounds like nothing,
well,
actually.
I mean, progression-wise.
Yeah.
Decent.
Nah, it feels like nothing.
Okay.
31?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's it?
Yeah.
About to become maybe
Well, yeah, not even all of them are going to make it to Aes Sedai for sure.
Exactly. So it's like, oh my gosh, so stupid.
We need more.
I know. But the reason why we know there are 31 accepted in the tower is because Egwene is bringing water to the accepted tower, and they're trying to, like, bully her and get her to do crazy chores, and she's refusing.
She's like, no.
But that earns her more trips to Sylviana.
Yeah.
And then the accepted finally just give up.
Yeah. And I do like that apparently Egwene is starting to do the same thing with the accepted that she's done with the novices.
Like comforting them.
Encouraging, like, hey, dead people, it's cool. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
don't worry about it.
It's fine.
Yeah, also just like obey Aes Sedai. Like she's doing the right thing. She's saying the right things.
Yes.
But
yeah. Now, in between all this, because there are a lot of pages of filler of catching Egwene up to speed on current situations like in the real world. Yeah, so we get some stuff filled in for us because Egwene is spending a lot of time with the Aes Sedai, and as a novice, a lot of Aes Sedai just ignore her.
Doing the chores and stuff, right? They're just kind of around.
So she gets to hear the world news.
Because Aes Sedai spend so much time ignoring novices.
Yeah.
You know who you shouldn't ignore? The novice who claims to be the Amyrlin Seat.
Right.
Like, you haven't noticed that you have one novice who claims to be the Amyrlin Seat, who you're giving fork root tea to every single day.
Who not even claims to, is the kidnapped leader of the rebellion.
Yeah, literally.
Not just like some crazy novice who's like, oh, I'm the Amyrlin Seat. It's like, literally, you literally kidnapped her.
Oh my god. Yeah, like he literally kidnapped her from the rebellion. Leader of the rebellion.
From the rebellion army that's outside.
Novice who's like,
and they're all just like, yeah,
it's
so funny.
It's so crazy to me. Like you haven't heard in the last 4 days that she's been to the Mistress of Novices like 18,000 times.
It's like way too much.
Like she's literally getting taught by only Aes Sedai now because she can't be in her accepted classes.
Anyways.
This is so dumb.
So for the record.
They're just like, here, let's talk about a bunch of crazy world events in front of her.
So Egwene gets caught up to speed on the Black Tower stuff.
They suck so much. They're so dumb.
Focus. The sisters forced to swear fealty to Rand. The bonding of the Aes Sedai, the Ashaman.
Okay, but hold on. Now I'm gonna need an Aes Sedai or like a novice, who goes crazy.
Yeah.
And is like, I'm the Amyrlin Seat.
Yeah. You were like, oh, we already had one of those. No thanks. Anyways.
Okay, tell us about the world events we already know.
No, that was it. And also, she does hear that Elida is being blamed by a lot of the sisters. Mm-hmm. So sometimes Egwene's like, sneaks a comment, and it's like, yeah, Elida sucks. Yeah. And then that's just like more trips
they
to
like
Sylviana.
Nod,
yeah.
And they're like, yeah, she does suck.
She does suck, but like
they're like, get back to her.
And then they send her to
Stop
Sylviana.
Listening.
More beatings.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I was also just looking at my notes because I have to switch the page, and I do have a note that Egwene can hardly remember even being 15 or 16. Oh, she can hardly remember being that young.
Like 2 years ago.
And I'm like, Egwene.
It's been 2 years.
Like, I know you've been through a lot, but like, please.
She's grown up a lot. I'm pretty sure when I was 18, I also thought, oh, it's been so long since I was 16.
I know. That's true. That's actually pretty accurate. But I just was like, ugh, come on, Egwene. But now this is going to lead us into like part 2 of this chapter.
Yeah, okay.
And it's called Egwene Interactions.
Okay. Just like stuff that happens?
Random interactions that happen. Because
there's like 9 days, right? It's like we got to go through some stuff here.
Yeah, okay. So the first interaction we're going to run into here is Alviarin.
Right.
Now, Alviarin is someone we know, obviously.
Yes.
This is
I hope we don't need a reminder for Alviarin.
No, there are a lot of A names for me to remember. But Alviarin specifically, Black Aja, she's a white sister who was the keeper, who was brought down, marked by the scary
Shadowharan,
that guy, and
Masana
was in trouble or something with her.
That Alviarin.
That whole shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so now what I do take out of this interaction is that Egwene has a letter of information that Alviarin sent to Rand on top of Elida's letter to Rand.
Yeah, she knows that letter got sent.
And so she's going to keep that for later, maybe for some blackmail.
Right.
We don't need to mention it now.
We don't need to pull it out yet, just to stick it to her. We might need to, but it's like a one-time use kind of piece of information. You can't keep pulling that out.
What's also interesting is that Egwene is constantly seeing
Oh, yeah.
Alviarin every morning.
Oh, man.
Who's ready for her penance
After
Egwene.
Which makes this interaction so funny. It is so funny.
And, if I were an Aes Sedai,
yeah,
and I was trying to break this novice who thinks she's the Amerlin seat,
sure.
I probably wouldn't have her literally crossing paths with the former keeper who's going in to also be I just would keep them separate.
Sure.
Because the fact that they're kind of in this together,
it's like waiting in the principal's office for your turn to go in and get in trouble.
Yeah,
it's super weird.
But also now they are seeing each other all the time and just.
But is that part of Alviarin's penance that Elaita's trying to stick to her? Because clearly Elaita doesn't really think very much of Egwene. That she can't possibly think Egwene's an actual threat.
Now, we literally go 9 days without Egwene even seeing Elaita.
Well, how much is being reported to Elaita about Egwene too? None of these Aes Sedai here are really on Elaita's side.
At some point in this chapter, it does say that I think it's when we have a Baonin interaction, I think, when we get to it, she says something about how nobody's reporting anything to Elaita.
Yeah.
Basically.
That's because nobody reports anything to Elaita.
But the fact that Elaita hasn't specifically had a meeting with Egwene.
Doesn't care.
Even a little bit.
She doesn't care.
But that's the problem.
Oh, that is the problem,
You know what another thing bothered me about this chapter?
And another thing. Okay, go.
No mention of the crazy tower being built. Remember?
Oh, yeah, no, they deleting the water ground to, enact a palace.
Deleting it, did you just say?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, backspace.
Deleting the water ground.
Exactly.
More physically tearing it down.
How fast do you think a palace goes up?
No, but I don't know, just a one-off mention of Egwene walking past a window and seeing a gross, ugly structure being built.
Maybe she hasn't seen it yet. Anyway, okay.
I'm just saying.
Back to the hilarious interaction.
Because I thought that was funny.
Sure.
I thought that whole thing, it was a really big deal that Elaita was doing this.
It is a big deal, and maybe it's coming. Egwene is focused on other stuff right now.
Just some mention.
Okay, so Alviarin walks up to Egwene, and she's like, "You've fallen far. You must feel it keenly." And Egwene's like, "Yeah, I'm not the only one." And then that gets her another trip to Selviana.
Sure, but mostly Alviarin offers an escape from her position here.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And Egwene denies it.
It's like a bunch of bait.
I'm content in my position.
How about you?
Yep.
No, Alviarin is not content.
Mm-hmm.
But,
And then several other run-ins where she is just casually mentioning to Egwene, how about an escape from your position? Right. Always mentioning the word escape.
Mm-hmm.
And Egwene is always turning her down.
Doesn't want to escape.
And Alviarin is getting frustrated, and I have to believe that this is a Dark One plot.
A Dark One plot?
Yeah.
Okay. I would assume it's an Alviarin plot to get back in.
Alviarin wants to get out?
Maybe get back in some sort of good standing with somebody. I don't know.
No, I think that this is like a Messana type of situation where it's like, nah, you're going to help for some reason.
Yeah.
Whoever wants Egwene out of the tower.
Yeah.
And
we want the rebellion going.
Or maybe we want Egwene back in a precarious situation or something. I don't know. It just feels like we know Alviarin is wrapped up in all of this Masana and Shadowharan stuff.
Like we do know that the Forsaken...
she's acting on only Black Aja orders, basically.
Yeah, we do know that the Forsaken want to keep this rebellion going, though. So
yeah, exactly. Okay. So maybe we need Egwene back there.
Maybe.
Because Halima, we know, escaped, but we don't quite know the timeline
on
all of that. And so maybe this feels to me more dark friendly than just like, oh, Alviarin wants out of her situation, too.
Okay, I like that. I like it.
Because she's like disappointed every time, and the fact that she keeps bringing it up, it's like she's being told she has to.
Well, I mean, failure's not really an option for dark friends either. So, like, if Alviarin's
told, like if she's told what to do, and Egwene's like, no,
figure out a way to do it.
Alviarin can't just go to Masana and be like, no.
And she said no. It's like that. Accepted.
Masana, I don't even know where she is after that situation with her, but you know what I mean. Anyway, so that's how I feel with that.
Okay. All right. Next interaction.
Day 4.
Here we go.
She is scrubbing the floors when Matin Stepanos sees her and wanders over for a chat.
Yes.
Now, what's interesting to me, I just find so funny in the writing, is that whatever Aes Sedai is guiding him to go for a walk, calls him by his first and last name.
Yeah, Matin Stepanos.
Yeah.
What would you call him?
No, I know, but it's
Mr.
for us.
Stepanos?
It's for our... No. King Stepanos. I don't know. I don't even know. Or just Matin. I don't know. We're clearly doing first and last names for our benefit.
Yeah.
Just to know for sure who he is.
Yes, okay. So, if you recall, Matin Stepanos, former king of Ilion, who was kidnapped/smuggled out of Ilion by Aes Sedai and is currently being kept safe in Tar Valon.
Quote, kept safe.
Quote, kept safe. He's hostage.
So, my notes about him, only guarded by Reds.
Yep.
My interesting note is that Egwene lies about the fork root tea.
Okay.
Because a Red shows up with her fork root tea for her to drink in front of him, which is so interesting. I feel like maybe...
Why?
I thought maybe she would wait until after this interaction to, like, give it to her.
But why?
Because she could easily be like, I'm a prisoner here. Like, she can just say words.
Yeah, but he's a prisoner too.
I know that, but, like, even just sharing what's happening is information sharing.
I guess so.
Right?
Okay.
And, like, the more people who know what's happening, the better for Egwene.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
Okay.
And so the worse for the Aes Sedai in turn. And so the fact that they, like, literally have no worries about doing this in front of anybody, anywhere at all, and then he's like, oh, they just let you drink when you're thirsty? That's nice. And she's like, no, it's a tea they give me to keep me happy, or something weird.
They think it'll improve my mood.
Yeah.
Is that the lie you think that she's telling?
Well, yeah, but she doesn't tell him directly about Forkroot, and I thought she was going to.
Okay, yeah, no, I don't feel like it's a lie. I feel like she's just being super sarcastic. And sarcasm is acceptable under the oaths.
No, yeah, well, yeah, that's fine. I just thought she was going to tell him, and she doesn't.
Okay, but you said she lied about the tea.
Well, okay, when I say lie, I mean, like, she doesn't outright say,
okay,
this is what's happening.
She's not
to
very
me.
honest about what's going on.
No, because he's like, hey, I know you grew up with Randall Thor, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
But what about you? You're also kidnapped here.
Yeah, because Egwene really sets his history straight.
Yes, I like it. Because Matin kind of goes on this big rant like, oh, they kept me, the Red Aja, the Aes Sedai, the Amaryllis Seed, they saved me from Rand because, I was going to be murdered. And the Egwene's like, why do you think that he would murder you? And he says, well, Rand murdered Morghese in Camelin and murdered Colavir and Kyrian, and he destroyed half the Sun Palace doing that, and he killed a bunch of Terran High Lords, and Egwene's like, no, you got it all wrong. Here's what actually happened.
Well, the Red Sister keeps trying to shut her up, but it doesn't work.
Yeah, she's like, no, I'm going to get the truth out here.
Yeah.
And then Egwene's like, hey, anybody here could have told you that if they wanted to, but they're literally keeping you in the dark on purpose here, so what's happening?
Right, and that earns her another visit to Sylviana.
More beatings, okay.
Okay, but there is one more point I wanted to say about this entire interaction, because the Red Sister who's bringing Matin Stepanos to the garden or whatever says that Egwene is shirking her duties, and then later on she says again, let's stop helping her shirk. Or you're gonna need to go to the Mistress of Novices for shirking.
Okay.
You're shirking. Like this word. And I was like, I don't know what this means. Because I thought it was...
It means not doing, skipping out on. Trying to not do your thing.
Yeah, because I thought it was like, helping her talk about something she's not allowed to talk about. Or something. That's kind of what it felt like.
Yeah, okay.
But I looked it up.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you know what it is.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty common.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's lots of words I don't know.
Avoid or neglect a duty or responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now she's going to have to go to get punished for shirking.
Exactly.
Because she's not washing the floors.
Right.
Not spilling the beans about stuff she's not supposed to, like I thought. I thought I was like narking, or some kind of
Yeah.
Anyway. Now, before we get into this next interaction, I do think it's time for another quick break.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, here we go. We are going to talk about the 7th day that Egwene is in capture here.
Right.
So she's doing some chores of carrying water up the tower when we get a run-in.
Yeah, we do.
Now she sees Baonin, and if you don't remember who Baonin is, let me tell you. I looked in my notebook and found out.
Okay, you don't remember the whole thing?
Well, okay, immediately after she starts talking to Bannon, it
Right.
becomes immediately obvious. I remember the character and what she does,
Yeah.
but her name wasn't like stand out to me like I think it was supposed to have been.
Yeah, that's
Because
fair.
it was like, oh my god, Bannon! And it's like a punch to the stomach, and oh my god.
Yeah.
And I'm like, somebody crazy is here.
Yeah, she's one of the inner circle, Aes Sedai,
Now I
back in the
remember.
rebel camp, and she's the one who, like, when I first read it, I thought she was going to go and try and assassinate Elaida.
Yes, I
Because
remember.
she, like, sneaks in and is like, oh, I'm going to do something super dangerous.
It turns out she was just a spy.
She's just a spy for Elaida from the beginning.
Right, because she was initially in with those 6 Aes Sedai.
Yeah, some call them the Saladar 6.
Some did.
Yeah.
Was it you? Did you call them that?
Well, the community.
I see. Okay, so then when that group wasn't appointed to the hall, they were kind of like the secret advisors to Egwene.
Yeah, they were, like, secretly running Saladar.
Yeah, they were. And now it's interesting because they also swore fealty to Egwene,
Right.
which I kind of forgot about.
Yeah.
And now the second Egwene disappears, Beonin takes off and goes to Elaida.
Exactly.
And on top of all of this, I think it's important to note, correct me if I'm wrong, because I wanted to know from you for sure if I'm remembering this right.
Sure.
She does show Elaida traveling.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Egwene's totally wrong about all this.
Everything.
Everything, yeah.
Well,
She's pretty much wrong about most things in this entire interaction.
it's clear a lot of the I said I don't know traveling.
Yes, but
And then
we know
Elaida hasn't
why.
shared it with most people.
Because Elaida was like, I'm not sharing this with anybody.
I'm keeping it to myself.
Yes. So Beonin showed Elaida everything,
Mm-hmm.
and Elaida is super selfish and was like, I'm not going to share this with anybody.
Okay.
So nobody knows anything, but Egwene assumes that means that Beonin didn't show
share
Elaida.
anything.
And she's 100% wrong.
Yeah.
Beonin spilled the beans on everything.
Everything. To
Yeah.
Elaida only.
Yes.
Which, honestly, I don't know. Does that affect anything right now here? Not too much.
No, it's just Egwene is wrong about a lot, because first off, she accuses Beonin, it's like, oh, you must be Black Aja because you forsook your oath, therefore...
To swear to me.
So,
But
like,
no,
you
there's
must
a
be Black
loophole.
Aja.
It's a loophole.
Yeah.
Because the second Beonin didn't feel as though
Yes.
Egwene was Amerlin anymore,
Yeah.
then she could just not do her oaths anymore.
And she does that whole explanation. She's like, nah,
But then
you're
as
not
soon
Amerlin.
as she start recognizing that Egwene is,
Yeah.
and still considers herself Amerlin,
Because Egwene's
then
like,
she can't
uh-huh.
say, she's even choked in her throat during her speech.
Yeah.
About how she didn't betray anyone.
But it's
and
like
then
she did
can't
betray
say
a
it.
bunch of people.
Yeah,
So,
and
yeah.
she betrays the ferrets.
The ferrets, yeah. She did a lot of...
She told Elaida all of the ferrets in the tower.
Beonin spilled all the beans about everything, so Egwene basically saying, actually, the oath is still on, is really just showing that your perception of the oaths is what holds you to them. So it is a major loophole if you can convince yourself that, like, the oath is off.
Right. Okay. So now, in terms of these ferrets, I just want to talk about this for 1 second because in my notebook, I had 4 listed ferrets.
Okay.
That we learned at some point.
Sure.
And I think that's when the Black Aja hunters were hunting.
Yeah.
And then also sort of started to find ferrets from the rebel camp.
Yeah.
So we had Maidani, who's like, that's Elaida's old friend.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah.
Who was like, hey, go be her friend again.
Exactly.
And that was a weird situation.
And it didn't work because Alviarin was, like, keeping them away.
Right. And then we had Bernila, who's a white, Celestine, who's a yellow, and Anharid, who's a yellow.
Yeah, okay.
So no one who matters or cares.
It's good.
We don't care.
Yeah.
And then, now we get Beonin admits to outing the ferrets.
Yeah.
But she says, I've already warned the Greys, because Beonin is a Grey.
Sure,
And so
yeah.
the Grey ferrets are Maidani, who we knew about originally, and then someone named Jeanette.
Yeah, we don't really know very much.
No, she's a Grey and she's been warned.
Yeah.
That's all we got. And she's like, I've done my duty. They can let the other ones know. They're obviously all talking to each other. And it would be so terrible for me to go talk to another Aja right now. Literally, if I go talk to another Aja, I might get assaulted.
Yes. it's a bad situation. And again, this is kind of like just playing into the whole, the tower is a bad place to be right now. It's not great.
And that's more information for Egwene about how bad this actually is.
Yes, right. So it's good that Egwene gets to see all this. Like, it is good for us. It's just, we know all this pretty much already.
Right.
That things are escalating very severely.
Okay, but we also learn that at the end of this interaction, Beonin says, I would like to see Elida pulled down.
Right.
Like, she's angry. She didn't get the reception that she wanted.
Yeah.
She told Elida all this information, and she's still kind of in this precarious situation in the tower. So she's like, yeah, pull Elida down. She sucks.
Yeah, she's a very self-serving Aes Sedai, and that just sounds like most Aes Sedai. So
there you go.
Yeah, okay.
Now, that night, Egwene hauls herself down to the cells, even though she's exhausted.
Right.
And this is where three sisters are arguing about something or other.
The logic problem that may or may not be about the Dark One affecting the world. I don't know.
Okay. That was as good a guess as any.
Right? It makes a little bit of sense, right?
On that.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, Egwene tells Lyanna about Beonin being here in the tower, and then Lyanna is like, oh my god, she betrayed us. And it's like, no, it wasn't her.
Yeah.
And I believe her.
Well,
and
Egwene
it
also
still
thinks...
leaves the question. We still don't actually know who betrayed them, right?
Yeah, and I mean, it could be a combination, because it was also, like, Nicola abandoned ship, too, and, like, left, so... And then Beonin also abandoned ship and left. And it's
but Beonin left after.
That's true, but we also don't know what information is being passed along by, like, which communication lines.
Yeah.
It might not be just, like, one thing that happened.
Yeah, that's fair.
But what I wanted to say is Egwene doesn't really understand Beonin's motivations here either, because Beonin's basically, like, flip-flopping a lot on her stances.
Yes.
Because she, like, betrayed the Ferris, but warned the two Grey sisters, and that kind of makes sense because the Ajas, but also, like, it's weird.
We didn't talk about how Egwene orders her to warn all the
rest of them, yeah.
Yeah.
The rest of them, but, like, even warning them of what?
And tells them to report to Egwene.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see how that...
that's part of it, and she feels as though it's quite a win for herself, so...
No, she does... Egwene feels like it was good, but it's also bad.
Right.
But also it's confusing because Beonin's, like, clearly an Elida loyalist, but then also is now sort of betraying her, so, like, none of it really makes a heck of a lot of sense. But it's a self-serving thing.
And then this is where we have that kind of slip in terms of audiobook text.
Right, okay.
Where... the White sisters are done their logic argument, and they come over, and they're like, Egwene, you're exhausted, let's go. But then Egwene says something about how if they're all still asking about traveling, then that must mean...
Right.
Nobody knows.
Yeah, because, like, hey, why are all these sisters asking for all the waves from Lyanna? Yeah, I mean, okay, Beonin must not have told everything, but again, she's wrong.
Literally every single person. But
to everybody,
that doesn't mean she didn't tell others, right?
Exactly,
So,
yeah.
Now, we also get a super side note here. Like, it is so side note in everything that's going on. It's super easy to skip. But Egwene thinks about how she hasn't had a headache since she's been here. And she's had very clear dreams.
Yeah, they're not the dark, murky ones that she can't remember.
Right. And she's been having dreams about Rand, Perrin, Matt, even Gawain.
Yeah, yep. But I mean, what could cause that? Maybe it's that lady who keeps sleeping beside you and giving the weird head massages.
Right, that Halima. Like literally everybody else figures out in like 3 seconds. And, well, you know, there's lots of information that helps them figure that out. But
okay.
Anyway, okay. So that's just the side note there. Then we're going to fast forward to the 9th day.
Here we go.
In the tower, and we get Docene.
Yeah.
Who is a yellow sitter.
Yep.
And also a black Aja hunter.
Yes, she is.
So we've seen a lot of Docene in the past.
Yes, we have. Fair amount.
I had to go back to my notes to confirm that because I didn't actually remember her name.
Yeah, she hasn't done anything like amazingly unique, I might say.
But she's just there. I'm like, name sounds familiar. Yeah. Let me check it out. And she was there.
She was in all the Black Aja Hunter in the tower stuff. So she's like always been present. So we have seen a lot of her.
Yeah. And so she's the one who's healing Egwene with the really primitive healing weaves.
Yeah, which again is like more confirmation for Egwene that Beonin must not have given any of the new healing waves. It's like, it's just bad.
Well, and also like Beonin is a Grey. Like, does she even care to pass on
could she show it?
Healing waves? Could she even do it?
Could she do it? Like, who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
okay.
I know. So, anyway, now Docene asks her, you don't mean to surrender, do you? And Egwene is like, should the Amerlin seat ever surrender? And it really sounds like Dosina's kind of on her side.
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. A lot of the Aes Sedai like a strong-willed, woman.
Yeah, well, they all hate Elaida.
And she's terrible.
Yeah, because the thing that Egwene really wants to get across, the thing that she is spreading throughout everywhere and wants everybody to be talking about, is that, number one, Amerlin seats have been pulled down before when everybody agrees they suck.
Yes, yeah. Even when not everybody agrees they suck.
Right.
They get pulled down.
And number two, that Elaida is to blame for a lot of things that have gone very wrong very recently.
You could pin it all on her if you want to.
So those are all of the things that Egwene is spreading throughout the tower or attempting to this entire time.
Yeah.
Now, to wrap up this Dosine interaction, Dosine tells Egwene she thinks that Silviana will break her soon, but then the Yellow Sister leaves without making any comments on Egwene calling herself the Amerlin.
Yeah, so it's like maybe a little bit of a win again.
Sounds that way.
Yeah.
Now, again on that 9th day, when she's going to see Silviana, because she sees her every day.
Right.
She gets her regular beating, but she's even, like, kind of smiling and humming and accepting the pain and doing all those things. And then, right away, she starts asking some questions.
Yeah, well, like planting more seeds here.
Let's have a chat. And then Silviana finds herself chatting with Egwene.
Yeah, a little bit about Shamarin again and the whole demotion from Aes Sedai.
Right. Tell me more about Shamarin. I didn't remember this.
Yeah, so we've heard about Shamarin multiple times this chapter because Egwene is still trying to drop this little seed of information or just remind people, and we've actually seen this entire progression of Shamarin. So Shamarin was an Aes Sedai. She got demoted by Elaida back to accepted, and
Why? Do we remember?
Yeah, she failed doing something.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, so basically Shamarin just didn't portray herself very Aes Sedai-like, and in a meeting they were talking about Rand as the Dragon Reborn, she collapsed on the floor or something. It was something super dramatic, and then Elaida was like, we can use her and punish her and use her as an example. So then she got demoted to accepted, and what Silviana basically talks to Egwene about this chapter is technically there's no rule that says Elaida can do that, but Shamarin's issue was she accepted the ruling.
Yeah.
And she believed that it was,
Silviana says, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Silviana says that because if Shamarin was just no, then Elaida wouldn't have any actual backing.
She wouldn't have any bearings.
She couldn't demote her. Yeah, she couldn't. But since Shamarin packed her shit up and moved into the accepted quarters,
even though whoever I don't even know who Shamarin is. I don't even know. Her sisters were no, don't do it. But
yeah,
she
her own Aja
anyway.
was don't, because she's also yellow.
Like a gray or a yellow.
Yeah, but it's don't, and then Elaida can't do anything, but she did, and she packed up and went to the accepted. It's okay, I guess you're accepted now because you've accepted being accepted.
Good one.
You get it, okay.
Yeah.
And then Silviana's I've
and then
said
she's
too
oh my
much.
God, you got me chatting.
Got me. Okay, get out of here.
Get out of here. And she goes, I'll mark you down for lunch because I know you won't be curtsying.
Yep.
And kind of laughs.
Yeah.
And I'm ooh, Egwene.
Little connection.
Go Egwene.
Okay.
So Egwene enters the novice dining hall, and this is excellent.
You like it?
Love it.
Okay.
I love it, love it, love it. So suddenly there's a loud scraping of benches, and all the novices have stood for Egwene's arrival. And Egwene's oh my God, I'm so glad that my red bodyguards
aren't watching.
Haven't peeked in at this moment because they're all about to be so punished.
Yes.
And she doesn't want that.
Yeah.
She didn't ask for any of this.
Well, she wants this, but she doesn't want them to be punished.
But she doesn't want them to be punished for this. And
this is literally exactly what she wants.
One of the novice runs to get her tray and puts it on the table for her, and they've even set out a cushion for her.
Right.
Because they respect how much she's going to be beaten and just accepting it because most of them
got one and they're done.
And they were done. That's right. And then she sits down to eat.
No.
She moves the cushion.
She takes it off. She's nah.
Nah. Then she sits down to eat, and to Egwene's surprise, there's honey in the tea.
Yeah, it's the chapter title.
That's the chapter title.
Yeah.
I just bought honey at the farmer's market today.
Nice.
So maybe I'll just go have some tea with honey.
Yeah, novices don't get honey, though, usually. It's like,
Unless
very
it's
special.
very special occasions.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do we get that? Probably Laris.
Right.
Right?
Maybe. I guess so.
Maybe,
Possibly.
somehow.
Okay.
Now, with all these signs, with Docene and Sylviana acting the way that they are, and the novices and the honey, it all points to that Egwene is winning the war. And it's not a very challenging war to win right now because everything sucks in the tower.
Yeah.
And she's here to make things not suck.
Yeah.
And I'm like, go fucking Egwene. Here we go, right?
It's like, it's definitely a badass moment. It's like when the bar is so low.
Fuck yeah, let's go.
I guess so. That's what we're here for.
This is like a pump up chapter, right? Because it's such a low moment when she's captured.
Yeah.
Because I remember feeling so disappointed.
Oh, yeah.
At the end of Crossroads of Twilight, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? This is fucking shitty. Like, this is awful. This is the most awful thing. All we want is for our characters to get a win, and this isn't a win. And in hindsight, looking at it, this does feel like kind of a win.
Right.
And so now thinking back on it, I kind of would have liked if Egwene's capture would have happened somewhere in the middle of Crossroads of Twilight, and then we ended Crossroads of Twilight with a chapter like this.
Yeah, fair.
For
That's
Egwene,
fair.
right? So then we have like a yes, get it moment, where it's like, this isn't the worst that's ever happened, and maybe we have some hope.
Well, Robert Jordan didn't want to give you any hope.
No, he definitely did not. No. But, and now we're getting it now.
And now it's smooth sailing for Egwene.
For
it's
sure.
all good
for
from
sure.
here.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's
all
kind
uphill
of
or
set
downhill
up
from
from
here.
Egwene's perspective. That's what I'm kind of worried about.
Yeah.
Like this narrator's perspective where she's like, everything's going great. And it's like, you haven't even seen Elida yet.
It's like, let's wait till day 10.
Right.
1 week after the end of the tower.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe day 10 won't be so good.
Uh-huh.
Shoot. You want to go read a chapter?
I really would love to.
Okay.
Yeah. Tell me what the next chapter's called.
Because you can. You
Because
can go
I already
read a
know
chapter.
what it's called. Tell me.
Okay.
Tell us.
Chapter 25 is called Attending Elida.
Attending Elida.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna fucking meet Elida. Like, let's go.
Oh, you think it's Egwene attending Elida? No.
No?
No, just joking. You
well,
can read and find out.
I will.
Okay.
Because I'm also curious about the chapter symbol and everything, because I looked already.
Doesn't make any sense. Like, what's going on?
I was too excited.
Okay.
But, yeah. So, we think things are going great, until they're not. This just really felt positive.
Sure.
On the way to getting Elida pulled down. I don't think it'll be easy, and Elida is not going out without a fight, and she is not going out physically kicking and screaming. Like, literally nails in the carpet drag her out of there.
Yeah,
you know
okay.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we're not just pulling Elida down and, oh, this is easy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she's not going to be like, I accept this.
You're right. Everybody's, doesn't want me.
Right.
Okay. Nope.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so before you go, embrace the pain like it's part of your body. I'm going to say that this is part of the pattern now.
Yeah, it's part of the pattern.
Well, that's the end of another fun episode. Thanks so much for listening, everyone. The Wheel Weaves is hosted, edited, and produced by Dani and Brett with Passion Socks, Cody Fouts, Benjamin, Michelle O'Brien, Jamie Young, Megan Smiley, Jared Berg, Ricky Morissette, Lance Barden, Charlie Haz, Adam, Marta Thier, Michelle Forbes, MKM, Antoine Benoit, Lawrence Bradley, Eric Reed, and Colby T. With music by Audionautics. Please be sure to check out our Patreon page if you are interested in supporting us and the podcast. We'd love to send you some Patreon exclusive merchandise as a thank you. Plus, you'll gain access to our episodes earlier than everyone else. And at the time of recording, we have over 45 bonus episodes for your listening pleasure. All that and more can be found at patreon.com/thewheelweavespodcast. For general information about our show and information like how to send us shot glasses, how to join our Discord, and how to get in touch with us, visit thewheelweavespodcast.com. And as always, be sure to give us that 5-star review because it really does make a huge difference in helping other people find us because of algorithms and all that fancy stuff. And be sure to tell a friend, Riyadh, because referrals really are the very best compliment you can give us. Thanks again for listening. This really is part of the pattern now.